Forgive me, I just took a shower. Sometimes it helps me clear my head. This time it did not. It's kind of hot in here. Hold on. Today started off okay, actually. Car was messing up, accelerating on its own. So we were all set and all prepared. We looked up the prices for what we needed to fix. We were sure that was it. Asked my mom to give me a ride to the auto parts store and got what we needed. It wasn't too badly priced. Of course, everything is expensive when you don't have a job. And came home. Took maybe 10 minutes to fix. Decided, probably be best to drive it around some. Boyfriend suggested that I get the computer restarted, which he thought that, like O'Reilly's or something could do that. Apparently they don't. So, still had the same problem. Accelerated on its own. Especially, when braking. It's like I'm fighting against it, which is probably not very good for the transmission. So, they couldn't find out what was wrong with it, even though the check engine light is on, because the cooling system sensor was blocking the signal of what might actually be wrong with it. Okay, more things to fix. Starting, good day, started up here, starting to slowly come down. Then, got home. Boyfriend wasn't too happy to hear about, that it's still messing up. Gave him the little sheet that, like, the auto parts store will give you, saying what's wrong with your car and, suggested maintenance. Gave that to him and he's like, okay, well, we'll figure it out like we always do. Which was very surprising because usually I'm the one to say that. Even if I don't always believe it, I'm the one to say it. Try to keep everyone calm and cool-headed. Because for some strange reason, I feel like I should be the only one who's ever stressed out. Not to really be like a victim or anything, like, oh, you guys always stress me out and I always try to calm you down, blah blah blah. But it's more like I don't want anyone else feeling the way that I'm feeling, because like I've said before, nobody wants to feel this way. So he actually was very positive, said we'll figure it out. I already decided that since I don't have a job, the only way I know of to make money here in my hometown, besides standing on a corner and begging for it, which I'm 99.99% sure I will never do, is donating plasma. Which, serves a good cause, get paid for it in the process. Awesome. So I decided I'd be doing that the next day to try to help with the car. And then slowly after that, I noticed, like, there's little warning signs that lets you know that you're about to have a depressive episode. One of them is things that you normally have fun with, you're like bored of them very quickly, or they don't entertain you at all. And you may keep trying to force yourself to be entertained by it, but it just doesn't work. So, was doing that, obviously didn't do any good. And then decided, take a shower. Take a shower usually helps you clear your head, or you have your little mini hypomania episodes is what they're called, and then you'll be fine. Doesn't always work, but for the most part that it does, and today was one of those days that it didn't. As I'm sitting there washing my hair and brushing my teeth, not at the same time. First started with brushing my teeth. I was brushing my teeth, and then all of a sudden I realized that I had stopped. Why did I stop? Oh yeah, because I was thinking that I was useless. Typical, normal, almost everyday feeling. I was washing my hair. For some reason, soap started getting into my eyes, and I was like, what is this? Why is there soap in my eyes? Because I had stopped washing my hair. Why? Because I will never be able to own my own home or have a car that actually works, or have my son, who lives with my mom right now. Thank God for that, because I can't seem to get my shit together, and I probably never will get my shit together. So my son has to live with his grandmother in order to have a good life. And I am so shameful. Every time that I see him. Because normal children get to live with their parents. It's not always the best option, but they get to live with their parents. And I made the choice, for the sake of my son, to have him live with my mom. And my original intention was, this was going to be temporary. I'm going to kick myself in the ass and do better. And try to come out on top so that I can make a home for me and my son. Life never works out the way you want it to. And it seems like every time I make a step in the right direction and I do something that I'm supposed to do as a person, as a parent, as a productive member of society, something happens and I have to take 3 steps back. I am so sick and tired of feeling this way every day. I am so sick and tired of feeling like I am not good enough to have visitations with my son. I'm not good enough to be his mom because I can't get my shit together. I can't get myself in the right mental state to be a productive member of society. I was doing really well. Back in we'll say 2011. This was before my divorce, before Damon started living with my mom. He was actually living with my ex. Because I moved out because that home was toxic. And you might ask, well, why didn't I take my son with me? What the fuck? You're stupid. And I know. Very stupid. I should have taken him out a lot sooner. But I didn't. And my poor son had to live in a toxic house with toxic family. And but I was still trying to get my own apartment. I wanted an apartment in the school district so that he could start living with me, because I was going to fight him on it. Ended up moving to Baytown with a friend that I met at Macy's. Mistake number one. Not the friend, but moving to Baytown. That was a step in the opposite direction. And then I moved closer, but it still wasn't in the school district, so I still couldn't have him live with me because we wanted him to stay in the same school district. So, by that time, he was living with his grandmother, my mom, because of issues that happened. I won't get into them because they're not my business to tell. And then we ended up getting a divorce, and part of the divorce arrangement was that Damon would live with my mom. During this time, I had a security job that didn't pay really well, but it paid decently. Shortly after that, I got another security job that paid even better and had really good hours. Had a lot of time off that I could spend. Actually, I had 3 days off in a row that I could spend with my son. And then I got into a toxic relationship. And the funny thing is that I was the one causing the toxicity because of this. I thought, I'm just, I have depression. I can fight through it. I've been doing great for so long. And then once getting into a relationship with someone who really didn't understand those issues, started making things worse. And I was trying to hide it a lot more, which made it fester more, which usually ended up bubbling to the surface and causing major issues. Long story short, made another backward step and moved to Houston instead of where I was at the time, farther away from Damon. Ended up losing my job because of all the toxicity. I let things influence me in a way that I shouldn't have been influenced, and lost my job. And because of that, lost the apartment that I was staying at with my roommate. And because of that, became homeless for all of one day. I've been homeless before, but this was homeless for all of one day. And before I became homeless, I met this wonderful man. He was funny. He was kind. He was so kind. He took a stranger into his home and said, "Come live with me because I don't want you being homeless." sad. My boyfriend does that. And even saying this out loud, I slowly realized I'm not good enough for him. I'm not good enough for my son. I am not good enough to be anybody besides a hobo under the bridge who lets herself just waste away. Every day I have to fight with that urge to run away. I have to fight with the urge to hurt myself, to harm myself so that I don't have to be a burden on anyone. Because for me, it's not about taking away the pain. Ever since I was little, I've always wished to take other people's pain away. So I say all the right things to make sure that they're comfortable and that they're okay, while inside I'm screaming. But that's okay. I cautiously, whatever, I make that choice. Because that's just who I am. But the thoughts of running away and self-harm, and even at times suicide, has never been about the pain. It's been about the burden that I have caused to so many people. I have made people worry. I have made people struggle financially, emotionally. Because I am not good enough. I have never been good enough. I have been nothing but worthless because I chose not to try. I chose to give up. But it's something that I can't help. I can't help but give up. Because every time I've tried, one step forward and 3 steps back. And all I want is for something to go right and to continuously go right. So I can say, look what I did. I want a chance to gloat and say, look how magnificent I am. I want a chance to feel that euphoric high, like I have accomplished something. And I deserve to be praised. Because not once in my life, except for birth of my son, have I ever done something that warranted, look what you've done. Good job. Anyway, this video is kind of long and I'm sorry. I knew I was starting to spiral down, so I wanted to make sure that I recorded it and just get my thoughts out there for people who don't know and need to know. Hopefully you'll learn something. I don't do it for pity. I do it for education, because so many people, and my family included, don't understand. They don't understand what someone who goes through crippling depression, how they actually feel and what they actually feel and how it affects them. So, yeah. Guess I'll see you the next time. Bye.